Stop talking, start walking. Ooh, title of the show. I think we found it.
Getting back into the rhythm again. I can't remember the last time that I actually really, did a full 40-hour week of prospecting. Things have been pretty much cruisy for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So, and it's time to take action and do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mad. I could totally relate to you on that. I had almost half a whole year off. It was crazy. And then I was like, shit, I've got to do stuff now. But it's you'll just keep plodding around, man, until you get to a point where you're like, fuck, actually, enough's enough. I think it comes back to ultimately going, how bad do you really want what you're doing? And by the looks of it, you don't really want it. What do you want?
Well, no, I do. I just want I love the communication side of it. I love training people. I love doing, once the client's interested, that's the part that I like. The hard part that I don't.
You like the easy bit, is that what you're saying?
Well, I wouldn't say it's easy. Like the sales procedure, I wouldn't think it's easy at all. Like once you've got the client, you've then got to, show them or talk to them in a way that they can come on board and know that you can help them. So I would say that's an easy part. I would probably more likely say that the beginning part's an easier part if you've got the correct systems and the right procedure in place to do it.
Well, it's like saying the selling's the easiest part if you're a fucking ninja salesperson, right? So what are you doing to get leads then? Like if you had to look at your last 7 days, what have you actively done to generate leads?
Not a lot. I've written some lists of prospective leads in the real estate industry that I'm hitting, which is the goal for this week is to hit 100 of those.
So is that 20 actually phone calls, or how many conversations is it? Because wouldn't it be better to have a number of how many conversations versus how many calls you make? Because I could fucking call 20 people and fucking one person answers.
Yeah, that's right.
Like what, would you say 5 conversations would be successful?
Yeah.
Would you say it's unachievable, or is it achievable? Because when you say 20, it's almost like in your mind, and this, because I've fucking done that before, I've picked up phone books, right? You can just be almost putting out the wrong energy because you're like, fuck, I'm nervous, but I'm doing it. I just need 20 calls. I just want to get through these 20. So I feel like I've hit my goal, even though I haven't really, because I'm fucking still sabotaging myself whilst I'm doing it. But if you know that you can't leave the day until you've had fucking 3-4 actual conversations, then all of a sudden the 20 number is like, dissolved. Some days you might have 5 conversations, some days you might have 10, some days you might have 2. But you'll know that number based off how long those calls can take you and so forth, It's interesting, isn't it, the universe, how it sort of steers you in the path of like what you're actually offering is what you're currently struggling with. So the success of what you're offering is only going to come from when you actually get through it, because then you actually, and only then will you actually be able to teach it at the truest, deepest level. With what you're going through right now, there's a reason why you're struggling like fucking crazy right now to do this. This is the last piece of the puzzle. That's it.
I know.
The last piece of the puzzle just needs to click in there. You need to be rejected fucking 50 times this week for you to realize that you really want to be doing what you're doing. Because if you believe in what you're doing enough, no is just the closest step to another yes. And if you can look at it in the old cliche, everything's happening for you right now, not to you. And it's an interesting transition, with a lot of people, becoming coaches and wanting to be coaches and all of that. Most people, what they're trying to coach is they're fucking struggling with themselves. because it's that finding their own path, finding their own journey, you know, moving forward. You're gonna still be struggling with this probably for the rest of the week, because now what you're doing is walking steps that you haven't walked. That's why. The only thing that stops anyone is clarity, simple. If we're not clear, then we got no fucking idea. Like if you had no phone script, man, it would take you even longer to go, okay, I'm gonna pick up the phone now. Because you're like, I don't know what to say. Oh. Now that you've got that, I bet you it took you ages too to write that, because you're like, oh no, I'll say this, I might change that, I might do this. The best way to learn a phone script, man, is just fucking have some bullet points and talk, and then you'll, oh, that's actually sounded better there. That's how the phone normally goes. But you need to go out and get 50 no's,
Yeah.
right? You have to get it, because then you'll be able to help that fucking real estate agent who's getting no all the time. You know, I couldn't think of it, standing in a house, have 100 people in an open home and no offers. You're like, fuck, what's wrong with these people, right? Until you get the stripes, you know, you've got to get out there and fucking just walk it, dude. You can still hold on to the belief that you need to go through some timeline therapy and you need to remove this, you need to remove that, but you don't need to. You really don't. You already know enough right now to be able to go, okay, you're running the same story. You know it's not true. Use the Socratic coaching method. Coach yourself. And like I said to you, what advice would you give me? Use that. Say, okay, I'm feeling like this. What advice? I've used that today several times. Socratic coaching. Something's happening and I'm like, whew. If I was coaching a client right now, how would I suggest they handle the situation? Because Brett at the time was fucking about to blow up. It's a very, very, very powerful tool, man. Again, it's that whole self-awareness, just bringing yourself back to, because again, that's a limiting belief that you feel that you need to go through this technique to break you through to the other side of the fucking stratosphere, you know? Like, next it'll be, I've got to wait for Elon Musk to colonate fucking Mars before I can do this. What's your decision then? What have you made?
That I've got to get on the phone and just back down the hatches and make the calls.
Yeah, why?
Why? Because otherwise there's no point in doing this.
Doing what?
Doing what I'm doing, as in the coaching side of it.
Right, there you go. So you need to articulate that, right? Very, 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 very important that you can articulate. Even though in your head you sort of know, but if you can't consciously bring it to the forefront and actually explain it and say, I need to, as of right now, this moment, 2:50 fucking PM, the 9th of October, 2017, from this moment forward, and then declare what it is that you're going to do. Because if it's not declared like that, it's just in our own mind and we're still able to hold on to it. Because it's got nothing to do with the calls. But once you're in flow, you'll be like, fuck, what the fuck was I even worried about? It's got nothing to do with the calls. I mean, I'm not saying what it has got to do with, but I know it's got nothing to do with the calls. Because you're a confident bloke, you know, it's not like you're lacking confidence. Like you just said, the whole process is actually not the hard part. Just making the decision is sometimes, because but just know this as well, like you can make the decision and in 7 days you can go, you know what, the same for me. And that's cool, that's all right as well.
Yeah.
At least you'll know sooner, you know, or you can pivot and go, okay, well that methodology didn't work. You know, I mean, we had telemarketing, we were doing cold calling for when we started the franchise. We're like, okay, this is another way we'll do it. It didn't really work out great. It was easier for me to do it online and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, there's a lot of time, effort, energy, focus put into doing that. Now, you might find that this could be the best gold mine ever. You could be like, shit, you're a gun on the phone. You just don't know until you try it, and you're never going to know. I think I'm in a little bit of groundhog, like Groundhog Day. 7 o'clock and I still haven't left this office. Lots going on, which is cool, which is all part of building a business. You know, the amount of times I see business owners and businesses so incongruent with their offering. I mean, you can see it's like the fat, overweight personal trainer. And I know that topic can always ruffle people's feathers, but the reality is, you know, if you're not being congruent and you're not walking the talk of what you're doing, what you're offering. You know, like there's new Facebook ad features just come out, I seen yesterday, and a lot of people out there, and this was feedback I heard from someone else the other day, they're like, oh man, it's so good and to know that, you know, you're actually on the cutting edge, you're actually trying these new things on your own stuff. You know, like you're not just using people's accounts to just test shit on. So of course, you know, I put a test up, I burned through like $50 on a test, didn't get the results. I was like, oh. But again, it's that back to the drawing board, because I'm there doing it, you know. Now, whether it's me or it's someone else doing the ad or creating that side of it, we would be very incongruent as a company if we weren't doing that stuff ourselves. You know, the amount of times I see people who are out there coaching a topic and they're not doing it themselves, it's crazy. But I get it as well. It's almost like you know, you look at the builder you know, construction worker he's out there building homes and for everyone else, but you go to his house and it's, you know, a piece of shit because he hasn't spent the time on it. I get that, but it's just amazing how many people are actually not congruent with what they're doing and what they're offering. You know, like a lot of mindset coaches I see out there, they're fucking the biggest, most messed up person there is. So it's crazy. You gotta start walking your talk. Walk your talk, fuck. Stop talking, start walking. Ooh, title of the show. I think we found it. I mean, no one's perfect, right? Don't get me wrong, I get that. And I don't like really hammering on this because it has come from a negative place, but it just fucks me off to see that there's so many people out there, and I'm not just talking for an agency or, you know, just in every fucking industry. You know, like someone who's a financial planner and they're fucking broke. You know, and I'm not making that up in the sense that I'm thinking that there's people out there. I'm doing that because I've had experiences with people. You know, someone who's a financial planner and their job's to help people make money, and they couldn't do a certain something because they didn't have any money. It's like, I just don't get it. You know what I mean? I just went through and still going through a health transformation myself. Man, I was in not good shape, you know, but I wasn't out there preaching it. I sort of was like, oh God, you know, more embarrassed even, or not embarrassed, but again, I have this value of making sure you're being congruent, living congruent with what you're preaching. And I get it that we're all on a journey and the life coach is out there and we're still going through life. There's no, you reach an echelon and you're like, yeah, cool, I'm there, I've got it all sorted. It doesn't work like that. I totally get it because I wanted to run before I walked. And it took a mentor of mine at the very beginning of my quest, my journey, to pull me up and just say, you haven't even got the runs on the board yet. How are you supposed to show someone else, or how are you supposed to teach someone else how to do it? Thank you for watching today's vlog. If you would like to tune into another episode, hit the video on your left, and don't forget to subscribe by hitting the link on the right.